Welcome to our video lesson on long division. Before we can start talking about long division, I need to make sure you know some key words that we're going to be using throughout. The first is called dividend. Hopefully you've heard this word before. The dividend is the amount that is divided up. So if you look down below here at these examples here, in this question our dividend is the 8 because 8 is going to be divided up by 2. A trick, in here it's the 8 again because it's going to be divided up. A trick to remember the dividend. It has end in it, and this is the number that is going to end. It is the number that is being divided up. That's how I remember it. The next one is the divisor. It is the number that is doing the dividing, or the number that the dividend is being divided by. So in this situation, the divisor, change colors, the divisor is the 2. And the last one sounds different, and hopefully that will help you remember it just because it's so different. It's the quotient, and the quotient is the answer to the division problem. So in this situation, it's 4. Okay, please make sure you have those definitions written down, including the trick to help you remember, and then that you label these diagrams down below on your handout. If you need to, pause the video now so you can get everything written down. Alright, in order to divide, we have to do 5 steps. The first step is to divide. The second step, multiply. Third step, subtract. Then we're going to do a check, and then you bring it down. Let's do an example together. So we have 8 divided into 1,952. Okay, over here it says my first step is to divide. So I need to divide first 8 into 1. Can 8 go into 1? No. So I'm going to look over at the next place value. Can 8 go into 19? Yes, 8 can go into 19. How many times? 2. So I'm going to write the 2 up here over the 19. One of the keys to doing long division well is to make sure you line everything up perfectly. So be really careful about where you put that 2. I put it above the 9 because 8 goes into 19 twice. So I've done the division. Now I'm going to multiply. What's 2 times 8? Well, 2 times 8 is 16. So I've multiplied. Now I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So I've done my subtraction. Okay, this check part. The check might be new to you. What I mean by the check is you need to check this number here and make sure that your number is smaller than your divisor, or smaller than the 8. So in this case, 3 is smaller than the 8, so I know I'm done the check. If it wasn't smaller than the 8, it means you didn't multiply it enough times up here, so you'd have to make this number bigger. But we'll do an example like that one a little bit later. I'm just going to erase this so you can see it and write it again. Now, we're done the check, now we bring it down. So we're going to bring down the next digit. So we have our 5. And then we do the whole thing again. So we are going to divide 35 by 8. 8 goes into 35 4 times. So we've done the division. Now we multiply. 4 times 8 is 32. Again, make sure you're lining everything up very carefully. Now we subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 minus 3 is 0. Done. We check. So again, we're going to check to make sure that this number here, our 3, is smaller than our 8. And it is smaller than 8, so we're okay to continue. So we're done our check. Now we're going to bring it down, and we're going to bring down that last 2. All right, now we're starting again. So first step, divide. How many times can 8 go into 32? 8 goes into 32 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract it, get a 0. So now we have found our answer. The quotient is 244. Okay, we have 2 more examples to do. The first one is written a little bit differently, and we need to set it up in the proper division form. A lot of you might remember this because you know the bigger number goes inside the division sign, But later on in the year, you're going to need to know that it's the first number. It's not always the bigger number. So write the first number inside, and then, because that's your dividend, or the number that's going to end, and then your divisor goes out front. All right, let's get started. Our first step is to divide. Can 3 go into 2? No, it can't. Can 3 go into 21? Yes, it can. Now, I'm going to make a mistake here. Let's say I said 3 can go into 21 6 times. Then I multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. And then I subtract. 21 minus 18 is 3. Now I'm going to do my check. Okay, in my check, I check to make sure this number is bigger than this number. Well, wait, they're equal to each other. So that means my check doesn't work, and I must have made a mistake. I need to go back and increase my number up here, because this means that 3 can go into 21 more than 6 times. Hopefully you know that it's 7. So I'm going to erase all my work and try again. If you run into that situation where when you do your check, the number's too big, this is what you have to do. Okay, so let's try it again. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract 21 minus 21, we get 0. Now bring it down, so we'll bring down that 2. How many times can 3 go into 2? 0 times. Now this is a common mistake. When it goes in 0 times, make sure you write the 0 up there above the 2. Otherwise, you're going to get the answer wrong. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract 2 minus 0 gives me 2. Now I'm going to bring down the 8. Okay, how many times can 3 go into 28? Now, 3 can't go into 28 evenly, but 3 times 9 is 27. So 3 times 9, 27, subtraction, get a 1. There's no more numbers we can bring down. I know some of you know how to convert it into a decimal, but don't worry about that for now. For now, if you get an answer like this, your quotient would be 709 with a remainder of 1. All right, we're going to do one more example here pretty quickly. How many times can 5 go into 3? Well, it can't, so we're going to go how many times can 5 go into 36? It can go in 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Now we do our subtraction. 6 minus 5 is 1, and 3 minus 3 is 0. Now we bring it down, so bring down that 1. How many times can 5 go into 11? It goes in 2 times. And 2 times 5 is 10. Now we're going to subtract it. 11 minus 10 gives 1. Bring down that 0, and we get 10. How many times can 5 go into 10? It goes in twice. And 2 times 5 is 10. So we subtract it and get a 0. So our quotient would be 722. All right, team, that's all the examples I have for this video. If you want, please feel free to go back and rewatch any part of the video. And if you have more questions, please ask me. I'm here to help you. Okay, I'll talk to you later.